Hi, it's Montgomery, and I'm with you on Lesson 2 on the Shining Piper. Now, today I want to talk about the difference between the Shining Piper and the recorder, because I mentioned in my last episode that I thought that the Shining Piper was more than a suitable replacement for the recorder in the early music education program or elementary school programs. And the reason for that, in my opinion, is that, first of all, it plays just like a concert flute. Secondly, I have found that the fingerings are more alike with the concert flute than the fingerings on the recorder. Now, we have to establish a benchmark on the recorder, and that is that with the recorder, in most cases it's a soprano recorder, there are two types, basic types that are used, and that is the Baroque recorder and the German recorder. The Baroque recorder is the one that's used most in the schools. So that's what I'm going to talk about. There is a difference between the two recorders. Mostly, what you can see right away is that the F hole is larger in the German recorder, and the F then is played just like that, basically. Whereas in the Baroque recorder, it may be this or just this, depending upon the music. And it's more different from the flute than the recorder is. But aside from that note and a couple of others, the Shining Piper actually has 13 more notes in common in the fingering than does the recorder. I'm going to put out a chart that compares the Shining Piper and the flute and the recorder so that you can see the fingerings on all three of them lined up together. But basically what I found out is that if you start with a low C on the recorder and the Shining Piper, which is the same low C, we'll call that C1. There are the following notes which are which work on the Shining Piper like the flute, but don't on the recorder. They are F1, C2, C sharp 2, D2, E2, F2, G2, sort of, and I'll explain that, A2, again, sort of, B2, C3, C sharp 3, D3, and E flat 3. And so the differences that I'm talking about, for instance, on the Shining Piper, there is a fingering chart out originally for it that shows that the B flat is played like this. We refer to it on the Shining Piper as thumb 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So the B flat is shown as thumb 1 and 3, and then in the right hand 4 and 5, or if you prefer 1 and 2 in the right hand, as a B flat. There's another fingering for the B flat which uses 5, 6, or 5, 6, and 7. And that's the fingering that I used in the recording just a minute ago because I find it a little bit clearer. That isn't in common with the flute, which would basically be the thumb, the first finger in the right hand, and the little finger. So neither one is the same because on the recorder, that B flat can be pretty much like the Shining Piper, this fork fingering in the left hand, and then what we refer to in the Shining Piper is 5 and 6, or you can hear a difference in the pitch in the two, and that pitch would be used depending upon the piece of music. So there are alternate fingerings on both instruments. But in the whole, there are 13 more notes on the recorder that are unlike the concert flute than on the Shining Piper. Thank you.